Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's episode. I'm super excited to be here. This is our weekly energy forecast by the name of Monday Mensaje or Monday Message. Super happy to have you with me, whether this is your first time listening or if you are back yet again. Before I get into things, for those of you who are listening the first time, I do quickly want to let you know that my books are currently open for personal readings. I do tarot and oracle readings, but I also do channel messages and use like my clair gifts, like my claircognizance, clairsentience, clairvoyance, all those kinds of things. So it really ends up being like a very deeply well-rounded message for you. And yeah, just letting you know because I don't always offer one-to-one readings, but I feel inclined to right now with this large sort of like shift I feel happening in the collective, and so many of us are going through changes. So what a perfect time to help someone out who needs a little bit of direction. So you can head to theglamspirit.com. I will link it below if you are interested in that. Okay, so everybody, super excited for this week's message again. I'm always excited, but I have to say, of course, I'm always a little more excited to deliver what seems like it's like a positive message. But you know what? The message every week is what it is. So I'm as happy to deliver it every time, no matter what. But I will say this is a good one. So let's get into it. I feel like I have to like insert some sort of like drum roll sound here, you know? So we have this week, the cards that represent the energy I normally just pick one, but two flew out, so I took them both. We have the Ace of Pentacles, yay, and the Queen of Pentacles. So excited. And then on the bottom of the deck, yeah, more Pentacles. We have the Six of Pentacles, okay? So this is a very lovely message. And last week with the Ten of Pentacles, this seems like a continuation of that story. Of course, as I always say, I check in weekly to kind of see what's gonna like be happening with the energy and like maybe what we need a heads up about. But the energy expands beyond that, right? So this is absolutely like a continuation of that story. So if you were here last week, you will definitely maybe really extra like get what I'm saying. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles. First things first. We're talking about new opportunities, okay? We're talking about new beginnings, especially when we're talking about career and finances. And with last week's message with the Ten of Pentacles, we definitely talked about thinking long-term, kind of getting a gauge on what we want our long-term life to be like. What are the things that you are working towards? What kind of life do you want to create for yourself? And what do you think of, what comes to mind when you think of your legacy, of the solid foundations and the like commitments that you want to make in your life? So if you did spend some time last week thinking about those things, this message really drives that home, because it's this thing of, you can't quite get where you're going if you're not really sure where you're going. It's harder to build momentum to create the change you need to make and to strive towards what you're trying to reach if you don't really know what you're trying to reach. And so I think that's why the universe last week was sort of saying, get clear on what you want. Get clear on the life that you want. Like I said, like I always think legacy when I think Ten of Pentacles. It's like this long-term lasting impression. Like, what do you want your life to be? And now this week, it's saying, okay, now that you've gotten clear on that, and if you haven't yet, because this is your first week listening, perhaps you want to go listen to last week's message, or, you know, what I said here is enough of a sort of like a journal prompt if you want to start thinking about it. Like, what do you want your long-term to look like? What kind of life do you want to have, right? So after you get clear on that, this is like the signal of, once you're clear on what you want, it is going to be much easier for it to find you. It's going to be way easier for you to receive opportunities that are meant for you when you know what kind of opportunities that you want to call into your life. So this is absolutely a heads up that if you've been someone that's thinking about a career shift, a career change. I know the last couple years, so many people have shifted what they want to do. I think we all realized that life is going to be happening, whether you're happy with it or not. Time doesn't really stop for anybody. So it's important to make sure that if you have the freedom to do so, really make sure you're spending your time doing something that brings you joy, something that makes you happy. Of course, we all have to make ends meet. While a lot of what I'm talking about are like 5D concepts, we're all still living in a physical reality in which we have to pay bills, and we can't just, totally run off and just like do whatever we want, because a lot of us wouldn't really be doing much work, right? But what I'm saying is, while you are, let's see, how do I say this? While you are tending to the responsibilities that you have in your everyday life, right? Like maybe you have to take a certain job to pay some bills. In the meantime, while you are working towards maybe like some sort of education that you need for the real career you want, or maybe you're like picking up extra shifts to save up some more money because you are planning on leaving your job and starting something new and you need a little bit of security, right? So my point is like, you got to do what you got to do at the time, right? But this is a signal that whatever opportunity you've been like calling in, daydreaming about, manifesting, hoping for, applying for, working for, it's like another thing I want to say. Hoping, manifesting, wishing, daydreaming, all fabulous ways to bring something into your reality. But you need to make sure that in the physical realm, you're working towards that same thing that you're daydreaming about and manifesting and all that stuff. So maybe you've put in some applications. Maybe you're thinking of putting in some applications for something. This is a time, first of all, astrologically, this is a great time to do that. If you're going to start something new, I would try to get that going before the late 20s of April, because that's when the astrology shifts a bit and there could be some more obstacles. So while I know this doesn't give you a lot of time, that's why if time has been feeling pretty fast, it's because we're in this extreme like hyperdrive momentum. We like just switched into hyperspeed. It's like how it feels, honestly, for the next couple of weeks. And the energy is going to still be there, right? So if you're thinking of starting something new, this is a fabulous time because they're showing me that it's going to be extremely lucrative. And when we're talking about new opportunities, I want to remind you that if you're feeling confused, and you're feeling like maybe you're doubting yourself, or maybe like something doesn't quite make as much sense on paper as it makes sense like within you, follow your intuition. Check in with your higher self. Like I feel like called lately to be spreading this message about like, make sure you're connecting with your higher self. If you don't know what that is, start with Google as like with all things and tap into that, because your higher self is really going to lead you, guide you. It knows the way. It is just the highest version of you, right? So my point is follow your inner guidance here. Follow your passion. Your passion is going to lead you to the place that you need to be. So if you're thinking of, like I said, you have like the freedom and the privilege to step away from what you're doing, to follow your passion, do it. This is like a sign that fire burning within you is going to sort of like be directing you to the right place. And I am using the traditional Rider-Waite deck. So, with this Ace of Pentacles card, if you're not familiar with the imagery, it's a hand coming out of a cloud with like a giant, giant coin. But below that is like a doorway. And so it's this symbol of stepping through a new door to get to this new financial or career beginning is normally what the Pentacles are talking about, but it can mean some other things. And so this is a sign that you might be like totally pivoting. Whatever door you're stepping through, and the last few weeks, if you've been here listening, we have talked about how so many of us are sort of starting a new chapter. I feel like this new chapter began with the astrological new year, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point now. And I feel like since then, that's when the shift in energy really came through strong. And I feel like so many of us were kind of like thrown into a lot of these changes. Things just started like breaking apart, shifting around us. And, I'm reminding you that happens not because your life is falling apart, but because the foundation needs to be rattled in order to build a new one, right? You cannot build a building on top of a building that's already standing there. You need to knock things down, clear things away, and then like have your fresh start. So this is really indicative of this fresh start being here. So this is really awesome. If you have been thinking about starting something new, a creative project, a career, going back to school to learn something, shifting back in, I'm getting this, I don't know why, but I'm getting this download about maybe some of you stepped away from something you were passionate about before, like I said, because of this, like, real physical reality we live in which we have responsibilities and bills and all that. But they're showing me that maybe this is the time to see if you could, in some way, sort of start stepping towards those passions again. So it's almost this shift of like, yeah, you were in a time where you had to do what you had to do to make ends meet. And maybe now we're entering a new chapter where you get to be a little bit more free about what it is that you're doing, how you're making money, and really like following your passion again after maybe not being able to do so for a while. So that is really exciting. And then this Queen of Pentacles here too is so, when I see the Queen of Pentacles, one, not only do we know she's financially successful, obviously she's the queen, but I always think of generosity. Like the Queen of Pentacles makes me feel that warm energy of I give to others what they need, right? Like others need this thing more than I do, or I have so much to give, I can share it with others. And that's really supported by, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, I think I did. The bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. And so again, if you're not familiar with the imagery, I would really suggest going to my Instagram so you can get like a visual of what's going on here, because this is really going to help you understand what I'm saying. Six of Pentacles is all about, well, it can mean a lot of things, but when I'm picking up on it for this specific message, I'm getting this sense of bringing balance not only to your life. We have the scales here, and it is a character who is giving to others that need, the resources that this person has. And so it's this energy of, walk through the new door, be confident enough, be brave enough, believe in yourself enough, believe in your capability to be successful doing something you love. Because when you put that heart and that soul and that passion into the kind of work that you do, like everyone always says, it's just doesn't feel like as much work as some other things. So this financial success, this career success, creative like endeavor, whatever it is, maybe it's like an extra thing you're doing, like a side project or like a side business or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you're working on or thinking about working on is going to be lucrative. This is like a huge sign of that. But it's that reminder from the universe that the more you have to give to others. And that is like something that I really do live by. When people ask me, like clients will sometimes talk to me about like manifesting financial abundance and money, and I always direct them to giving their money away first. The easiest, best, most kind-hearted way to allow more money to flow into your life, right? Money is an energy. I'll talk about that in that's a whole other topic for another day. But the energy of money, right? Like, it doesn't really like to be held so tightly onto, right? Like money loves to flow. It doesn't really like to be stagnant. And so when the universe and the energy of money sense that you are willing to let go of it, it will always come back to you. And the best way to let go of it, for more of it to come back to you, is to give to others. That shouldn't be the reason why you're being charitable and giving back to others, but it is definitely like an added benefit. Let's say that. Find something or an organization, or this could even be like a personal, like person in your own life. It doesn't have to be like an organization you're donating to, but find something you're passionate about or someone in your life really needs help. And when you get this influx of funds, make sure that you're remembering those things close to your heart, those organizations close to your heart, and the people around you who need a little bit of help, because it is a blessing that is coming to you for you to share with other people. That's like the main message I'm getting here, that the universe is going to be delivering us some monetary blessings, but it is also blessings to be shared. And so, one of the biggest reasons why I strive to be so successful is so I can help redistribute money to places where they need to go. And this is going to take, what next download I'm getting here right now is like, this takes reframing about money, right? So many people have this negative connotation with money where they almost like limit themselves because they think with that, I think it's like an outdated mindset truly, about like money being like, you know, the root of evil and it has like negative energy, negative connotations. No, it's the people who have the money, right? So we need more good people out there in the world who have the resources to redistribute them among the people who need them. So I hope that helps you, you know, sort of reframe the way you think about it. Like so many people are like, oh, I don't need a lot of money. I just need like the bare minimum. Well, then you're telling the universe, give me the bare minimum, right? I want more than the bare minimum personally, so I can help other people. I'm not just saying that. This is like truly what drives me every single day. I joke with my friends and family that like I want to be like Rihanna and be a billionaire so I can just like redistribute it. Like give it to people who need it more than I do. Create structures and change and just like help people, just to sum it all up. So I'm not here for a half an hour ranting, but we need more people like that out there. And so I think this is what I'm getting now is like, this is sort of part of this shift, right? I think the universe is going to be blessing some kind-hearted, good people with money, but I need you to know that the more money you have, the more money you can help other people with. So that's important. And it's just like something that makes you feel good. And when I say like donating, like let's say you don't have a lot of money to give, like $5 goes a long way to someone. If we all gave $1 somewhere, like that could really count, right? So maybe there's like a GoFundMe page that's like calling out to you, or like I said, like there's a local shelter like around me that I like to donate to. You can donate to things like in your local community. That's such a good way to start. I think some people get really stuck on like donating to these larger organizations where most of the money doesn't even really go to the people that need it the most. So make sure you're checking in on where that money that's donated like actually goes. Who's it going to? Is it going to the people who work for them, or is it going to the people that they're collecting the money for? Which is why I like to, a lot of times, donate money to more local, smaller organizations near me where I know that it's really like making a difference. So great money moves. Like I'm loving these messages. I love this. This is fantastic. I'm also now receiving about how for some of you, it's been like this long haul. This is going to be some sort of like a big break for you. Maybe you've been working towards something for a while, and this is sort of your symbol of don't give up hope yet. Right? Like I said, the energy expands beyond this week. I'm not telling you to expect this to go down this week, but they're telling me to prepare you to get ready to receive it. One, so you don't blow it all because you're just like, you know, high on life and excited. But two, so you can kind of get things in order and maybe start, I don't know, pre-planning some things that you want to do with it, right? And you're in a good headspace and yada, yada. But for some of you, I'm really feeling like this financial break, this like huge blessing that's coming in, whether it's a new job specifically, like I really feel that, like, I think this is going to drop out of nowhere for some of you. Like it's going to be maybe for, I don't know, this is for a select few of you I'm getting. It's like someone's going to contact you to be like, hey, do you want to come in and work on this thing? And it might just be so unexpected. You're going to think of this message literally when it happens. For others, it's, maybe you've gone on a ton of interviews and you've applied to a bunch of things and you're finally going to get that call back. And for others of you, maybe it's going to come through like an inheritance or some sort of unexpected way, where maybe it doesn't even have to do with the job. This is just like an influx of funds. And so especially when you get those influx of funds where like you're not even working for it, it just like kind of drops in your lap. That is especially the time to be charitable, right? Like especially so, because it's even, more of a blessing. So, that's really like what I'm getting. So my point is like, if you have been really hoping for some sort of opportunity, I really do feel like it is going to be on the way to you in the near future. Like I say, the energy expands beyond the week, but this is what they're telling me. And they're really emphasizing this idea and this message of giving back to others, being charitable. And so what I want to rewind. What I want to rewind to say is a couple things now that they're telling me are important. So much of the money and the opportunities that we receive have to do with our self-worth and what kind of value we think we have. You need to, like, again, when I help clients go through like money blockages and career blockages that they're experiencing, it almost always doesn't actually have to do anything with money. It has to do with the fact that they are not feeling worthy of receiving, whether it's money, blessings, opportunity, love, whatever the thing is, right? So this week, and this is again why they're telling me, I get it now. I fully get it now. They're telling me to tell you this, that way you aren't blocking yourself from what is trying to be delivered to you. That makes total sense. Okay. So when I'm working with clients talking about money blockages, we always start with self-worth. We always start with, do you feel like you are worthy of receiving? Do you feel like you're worthy of your dream job? Do you feel like you're worthy of miracles in your life? Like I said, falling into random like blessings and receiving random acts of kindness from others, all of those things, which really boils down to, do you feel worthy of the good that could be in your life? And a really astonishing amount of times after talking with them, we realized that that was the block, right? That they didn't feel worthy or good enough to really truly have the life that they want. And so it's like, how can you really work towards something and, you know, try to manifest it? It's like such a like key word lately, and try to call something into your reality from the astral realm that you don't even really believe you're worthy of receiving in the physical realm. So much of this stuff around money and career and finances is inside of you. It's your mental health, it's your mindset, it's your emotional health. It's, do you feel worthy like of all of the beautiful things that you actually want? How are you going to get those things if you don't even believe like it's really like possible for you deep down, because you don't think you're good enough? Whether it's that you don't think you're good enough to be successful in this job that you want, or you straight up just don't even think you're worthy of like something amazing happening to you out of the blue. So I am strongly suggesting that if you haven't been looking at that and like working on that, that like this is a time for you to work on that and to look at that, because I would hate for you to block yourself from receiving something so beautiful because you don't think you're worthy. And this isn't to say that, you know, there are those, myself included, like I get intrusive thoughts sometimes, like I have anxiety. Like I have all that stuff. So I'm not saying to never go there, because I think that it creates more anxiety. I see other like people in the spiritual community talking about like never going to like I call it the bad place, where you have like your anxieties, your worries, your doubts, your fears, right? If you're someone with anxiety like me, and like I also have intrusive thoughts sometimes and all that, it's going to happen. Do not freak out. That is not you fumbling it. No. It's you saying, I recognize that these are the thoughts that are popping up in my head, but I also recognize that these thoughts are not reality. They're just that. They're thoughts. And if your brain is used to going towards negative thoughts when it comes to self-worth and how much you value yourself, the neural pathways that are already established that have been used most often are going to be like the first door that your brain takes, right? So to build a new pathway, you have to consciously think things that do support you and do serve you. And that's why I love affirmations. So this is another thing, you know, I feel strongly called to say that, like if you want to look into things like your higher self this week, and also affirmations. Affirmations are incredibly powerful. They literally allow you to rewire your brain to think things that do serve you and have those thoughts not only combat, but replace a lot of the negative ones on a subconscious level. And then it's like you're changing what you really think about yourself from the inside. And that is so important. Some of my favorite, I want you to know that like in the beginning of doing affirmations, it's totally normal to feel silly, like just saying things in your head or out loud to yourself. I do them in the morning. I do them all the time, but I started out just doing them in the morning with my coffee and like before bed. And then now I have like certain times when I do it because I am like living proof of how amazing affirmations can be. So some affirmation suggestions, there's like tons and tons. I'm sure there's infinite possibilities on the internet that you could find ones that resonate with you and like the things that you need to work on. But when we're talking about money blockages, it's like, first of all, like, I want you to build a positive relationship with money, right? So you have to add some affirmations in about like, I am grateful for the money that I already have in my life. I love money and money loves me. Money flows to me effortlessly. Like these are all really great ones. I am abundant. I am successful. I am worthy of receiving money. I am worthy of being financially secure. I am financially secure, right? So like those are just like a few. There are literally endless possibilities. A great one is I am open to receiving from the universe. That's great because then that just truly allows you to inherently believe that you are open to receiving, and then the universe can bless you with whatever you want. Or I guess that's what I meant to say, but I meant to say whatever it wants to bless you with. I am reiterating the fact that if affirmations are new for you, you may seem like it may feel crazy and silly to just be sitting there saying these things to yourself. But I promise you, like, I swear I wouldn't just be putting this out there for people if this wasn't true and I hadn't already done it in my own life and helped so many other people, family, friends, clients, like seriously. There will come a day where it switches and you're going to say these things and you're like, oh shit, I actually believe it now. That was like the most shocking thing for me when I first started doing affirmations. Is it took a while, but I knew I was just saying these things to like help myself. And you can do this with any area of your life. And then one day I said the things and I was like, oh my God, I actually believe that I am worthy. I'm not just saying that I am. I really, truly believe it within me. And that is when everything started shifting around me. So I know that was like a little bit long of a side note there, but it's extremely important because your head needs to be in the right place in order to be receiving. And then you can share with others. And like I said, we need like good people with money out there to redistribute resources within our communities. So that's pretty much all I got for that part. And I'm going to be, I already have them here shuffled as always. If you're new, I do a small segment at the end of the energetic forecast for the signs, sun, moon, and rising. So if you feel inclined intuitively, you can listen for all three of yours. I do something called Messages from the Universe, and I do it with Oracle. That way we get like tarot and Oracle messages, and then it's a little bit more personal. Okay, so I already shuffled. I'm using for those of you who also read cards and, just want to know, I'm using the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. It's incredible. Love that. And yeah, that's another thing. I feel like I'm so called lately to just go out there a little farther than normal. Sometimes it is hard for me to be a little bit vulnerable and like share. So I'm working on that. I'm a Capricorn, okay? So I could be like a little bit Capricorn sun. I can be like a tiny bit closed off sometimes, but that's another thing I'm feeling called to share. If you do not know what a starseed is and you are sitting here right now and there's like something nagging at you to be like, what is that? Google it. I will actually put a video in my info box down below by Christina Lopes. She's an incredible resource about so many things. And she talks about that just because I feel like there are a lot of starseeds awakening and remembering who they are right now. So it's a little woo-woo. It's a little out there. Okay. It may not be for you, but if it's for you, you're going to be feeling it right now when I'm saying it. Okay. So without further ado, let's wrap this up and do our messages for the signs. Like I said, sun, moon, and rising. And let's see what we got. Okay. Aries, there we go. This is hilarious. This is exactly what I was saying. Okay, Aries. So some of you with like large Aries placements, like in your big three, are starseeds listening. And I guess that's why they wanted me to say it. Because the first card that I pulled right now is what was called the Empathetic Starseed card. And it's talking about having energetic sovereignty and making sure you're not absorbing what isn't yours. So I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so that's why I was being called to. It's not just for Aries. I feel like it's for multiple people who are listening right now. But if you are an Aries, this is especially a call to you. Maybe check out what a starseed is if you don't already know. Maybe you already know that you are one. So, empathetic starseed. Okay, this is a sign that, listen, my empathy is, I'm going to say, very bittersweet. It is one of my strongest, if not the strongest, like one of my gifts that I have, to be able to truly, truly feel what people feel. It is both a blessing, but also it can be a burden if you don't know how to shut it off or create create like a energetic boundary, so you're not just like being pulled into feeling how other people feel and taking on their experiences and their energy like when you don't feel like it, right? So there could be some Aries listening where you are feeling a little bit heavy, a little bit burdened, and it's like not even by things in your own life. It is things that you're picking up from other people. So again, this is like a whole other video I could make just on this, but I will condense it into a couple bullet points. If you're not familiar, when we're around other people, we pick up their energy. And if you are not cleansing your energy, that can stay in your own, let's say, energetic fields. Like if you hold your feelings in your body and you might feel tense, or you might just feel off after you like hang out with someone or go somewhere. I'm thinking like a concert, right? So that's a good example. There's like a lot of people. If you're an empath, if you're what this card says, an empathetic starseed, or someone who just picks up other people's energy, emotions, whatever it is, like a sponge. Maybe you don't even quite realize that that's one of your gifts yet. Maybe you do realize that's one of your gifts already. This is a call to make sure that the feelings you're feeling are yours, that you are looking into ways that you could spiritually cleanse yourself, right? Like smudging and spiritual baths and cleaning yourself with crystals and all kinds of things. Using protective crystals as sort of like a way to not pick up people's energy. There's so much there, but it's really just a call for you to know that you are picking up things that aren't yours. So pay attention to how you feel after you talk to certain people, after you hang out with certain people. That's going to tell you a lot about what their energy is like. If you feel crappy after you hang out with someone or you get off the phone with someone, you feel like off, that could be their energy, not even yours. And you don't want to take on things that aren't yours, and then you're kind of like feeling stuck and stagnant when maybe everything in your life is kind of going, well, so you're like confused, right? So look into that. Look into how to create boundaries around what you pick up from other people. Kind of long, but that felt super important. Okay, Taurus, earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time and nature. Okay, so when I get this card, this means you need to slow down. So Taurus is listening. This is a very strong call to go back into nature. What's so funny is I pulled this card for myself a couple days ago, so I actually did look in the book and everything and read about it. This card talks about how we were once all much more connected to the earth, right? And that's why I still do earth grounding, which is where I go outside and like you're barefoot and you feel energy from the earth and let her ground you and all that, let her heal you. This is your call to do that. You need to go ground somewhere out in nature. You need to slow down. Maybe your life has been moving a little fast. Maybe you're kind of like hopping around and doing a bunch of things and you haven't had time to reconnect with nature. This is a wonderful time to do so. It's springtime. So maybe this week, try to find some time to get outside. Take off your shoes. If you are privileged enough to live in an area where you can have your feet in the grass, definitely do so. Take some deep breaths. Maybe you want to listen to some sort of like sound bowls or do like a meditation or like a guided meditation and reconnect with the earth. Reconnect with the slower pace of the way nature works. because in this reality we're living in society, we're especially like if you're like I'm on the East Coast, like this is it's such fast moving energy. Like I'm in New York, you know, so it's like I get it, right? So this is a call to slow down. And any divine feminines listening, remember that to be in your divine feminine energy, you need to slow down, okay? Flow. Not everything has to get done in one day. Prioritize what needs to get done and go from there. Gemini. Oh, I always love when I get this card. Gemini, you are not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. That's what this card says. Super like self-explanatory, but I love when I get this card. I get it a lot because I struggle myself with remembering that. You're not for everyone, Gemini, and that's beautiful. The people that are for you and love you, those are your people, and focus on them. Do not focus on the people who don't get you, who don't like quote approve of you. Who cares? Like they're living in their reality, you're living in yours. It is what it is. Chances are if like they're not into you and what you have to offer and your energy, then you probably don't even want those people around anyway, right? There's like this societal need for like approval of all, but we're all so unique. I talked about that last week too. And so it's important for us to embrace our true self. I also talked last week about taking off our masks. So Gemini, maybe you've fallen in again to putting on a bit of a mask. And while that's okay, like let's say, I always say like at work and stuff, that's going to happen a little bit, but try to be you at work versus like a work version of you. You know what I mean? So you may have to like dial it back a little bit or like, you know, your language is a little more professional and stuff, but make sure you're still being yourself because that's how you're going to find community. That's how you find the people that are for you. And this message is for everybody, not just Gemini, but Gemini specifically. The way people find you, like who are really for you, that are going to be like your real friends and like you really connect with on a deep level. I'm hearing too, like soulmates, like whether that's platonic or romantic, the way you find those people is by being your real self. So this is your reminder to embrace your weirdness. Like I would say, like, I love the weirdos. Like I'm a weirdo. I think a lot of people think that because I look a certain way on the outside that I'm not, but I am very quirky and a lot more weird than I think most people would ever guess. So I get that. I love that. I'm embracing my weird. Gemini, do the same because that's what's going to make you unique. That's your true, fun, real you. And there's so much value in that. And my favorite thing about being your true self is it makes other people feel comfortable to be their true self around you. And that's like really where magic happens in friendships, relationships, with family, all that. So good luck to you and face your true north. Okay, Cancer, baby steps. Action is needed, but follow your intuition before it makes sense. Okay, Cancer. First of all, I think something about intuition also came up for Cancer last week, if I'm not mistaken. Cancer, make sure you are following your intuition. You are a water sign, one of the most intuitive signs, right? So your ability to tap into your intuition is limitless. But make sure you're not getting too caught up in, like I said, this like physical reality in which we need things to make sense on paper and then we go with our gut. No. This card is saying you don't have to take too many leaps, take baby steps, move slowly, but follow your intuition before it makes sense. Do not be too worried about what things look like on paper if you feel it's right for you. You are the one that knows what feels right within you. If it feels right, go with it. Follow it. Like it says here, baby steps. You're not like taking a huge leap, but you are following small synchronicities, small signs, gut feelings, intuitive feelings, maybe dreams that you're having is what I'm hearing too, and reoccurring like daydreams or something. That is not just you making things up. It is your intuition trying to come through to tell you, hey, this is where you should go. This is where you should go. And maybe that's coming up because you're trying to discredit your intuition, right? Like, oh, no, that's just whatever. Like, this thing is really not what I think it is. No, I'm sure it is, right? So this is a call to follow your intuition. And when this sentence always gets me when I get this card, follow your intuition before it makes sense. That was one of the hardest things for me to learn, is just like feeling something so strongly, intuitively within me, but it not making sense, like why I feel that way or why I feel pulled to do something. And then once it unfolds, it always makes more sense. So have some faith in yourself, because it's going to make sense at some point. Take it from me. It was hard for me to learn that too in the beginning. Okay, Leo. Earth, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Okay, Leo. So again, this is a starseed oracle as a whole, but there could be some Leos listening as well, who are getting a little bit too sucked into what I call like the 3D reality, right? Remember that so clearly there are some Leos listening here that are starseeds. Yeah, this is a tough one. I struggle with this myself. So remember, this message may not make sense to everybody else, so bear with me while Leo's listening. Hopefully get it. You are here to learn, right? You are here to understand the human experience. You are here to be immersed in what your soul needs to know to grow, to develop, right? So there is a certain amount of you that is required to tap into the full human experience. However, I love this reminder here, in the world, but not of it. One, that's making me think of reminding you that you are beyond this world, right? Like, so if you feel unique and different and like you don't fit in, it's because you don't, and that is okay. Just admitting that you're different and that you don't necessarily fit in is so freeing. It's because you're in the world, but not of it. I'm just reminding you of that. Maybe there's a starseed listening who's a Leo who forgot that. Your job is to shine your light brightly because it's different than everyone else's. Like I said a couple messages ago, you being your authentic self paves the way for other people to show their authentic self. When you take off your mask and stop trying to fit in to what everyone thinks you should be and what society thinks you should be, and just really be your true self, not only is that where you're going to find success, where you're going to find purpose, legacy, you are doing what you came here to do, which is to light the way for others. Allow people to take off their own masks because you've taken off yours. There is great value, magic, and miracles in being so unique and being so different and being so you. There's no other you out there. That is like your superpower. I always tell clients that. And just people, friends and family, I'm like always saying that. Like, being uniquely you is phenomenal. It's like the best thing you could do. So own it. Own your weirdness, own your uniqueness, own how you are, and the world is going to notice that. Trust me. To tap into your most magnetic self, you got to just go for it and not care about fitting in, because you were not reincarnated here to fit in. That is like the whole point. So I'm not trying to be harsh. I just really want you to know that, like, the more you fight your unique self, the harder this journey is going to be for you. So surrender and be beautiful. Okay, Virgo, Earth School, right? Oh my God, yeah. That's probably why I was feeling like using this deck this week. So Virgo, remember, this is so similar to Leo's message. We reincarnated here to go to Earth School. Okay, Earth School is not easy. There's a lot of things we're learning here. There's life lessons. Soul growth is another thing this card says. Study and higher learning. So like Leo, do not fall too deeply into thinking the human experience is all that you're here to do, right? Like, there are so many lessons that you're here to learn, right? So also same thing, shine your own light, be your own you, be your most authentic self. But don't get so lost in this human experience that you forget that there are certain lessons you need to learn, certain periods of growth you need to go through. So if shit is getting really hard, this is like what's coming to me now. If things are getting really hard, remember you came here to learn. You literally reincarnated here to learn. to go through these lessons, to experience things in this realm that you can't experience where you came from. That's all I'm going to say about that. So do not see this as like, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Find your power again and say, right, I chose this. I chose to be of service. I chose to learn these lessons. I chose to come here, like we all jokingly call it Earth School. Okay, that's why I love this card. So Virgo, you need to reframe your mind. And instead of seeing things as, why is this thing happening to me? Maybe you need to see it as, what can I learn from this? That's what I'm hearing now. Okay, Libra. Oh, wow. Okay. Big picture thinking. Some of these cards are so gorgeous. I swear I want to, like, maybe I'll add them into the Instagram. I'm not sure. This deck is just so beautiful. Libra, big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Okay, so there could also be, it seems like strong Aries, Leo, Virgo, Libra. Again, you don't have to be one of those signs in order to be a potential starseed listening. If you don't even know what a starseed is, I'm so sorry. This may not be the week for you. But Libras, perhaps there's some starseed Libras listening as well, that are connected to like energy from Pleiades. So that's fascinating. I love that. But also what this is talking about, this card is like a huge doorway on it, like a portal. And so what I see, the downloads I'm receiving are, do not be afraid to walk through that door. Whatever door you feel like you're coming upon, I feel like maybe you feel thrust into like what I've been saying, these like huge changes. Or maybe you're on like the precipice of change. You're like right there, right? Walk through that door. You are a visionary, Libra. Like Libra is listening to this. The reason you don't feel like, it's just very similar to Leo and Virgo as well. The reason that you don't feel like maybe you fit in, or maybe that your ideas are, hold on, let me formulate this the right way. You might be feeling like, wow, everything that I want is so weird and different. Everything that I like and I think to do isn't the norm, right? That's because you're not supposed to be. You are a visionary. You are inspiration to others around you. If you look back, maybe the path that you've been walking down this whole time hasn't been normal from the start. Perhaps maybe you need to look in the past and say, God, has anything about my life been normal? That's okay. And if the answer to that is no, it hasn't been, remember that you're a visionary. Remember that you have big ideas because you came here to do big things. Stop playing small. Stop dimming your light to fit in. You don't need to. If anything, you are one of those guiding lights that's going to be leading others around you. So be confident enough to do the same thing. Take off the masks continuously. It's a continuous process. We don't wake up one day and you're just like, I'm fully my authentic self. Like, no, who we are authentically is constantly evolving, right? But be brave enough to be the real you, step through that big door, see what's on the other side of it, walk through this new chapter because it's calling to you. That's like what I get in my chest. Like, it is calling you because you are meant to go there. And just like we were talking about with, I think it was Cancer, follow your intuition maybe before it makes full sense because it is going to be revealed to you. Sometimes it is only after things play out that we can look back and say, oh, I see why that thing had to happen that way. Sometimes we don't know when we're in it. It's like you're too close to it. How could you know, right? So that's incredibly beautiful. And think big picture. This goes back to 10 of Pentacles energy. What do you want your life to be? What are the long-term things that you want? What do you really want your life to look like? And I'm telling you, think big, think huge, because what you're capable of is more than I think you quite realize right now. I'm getting in my head now, you're meant for greatness. So I don't know. I hope that resonates. That gave me a chill. Okay. Scorpio, star, and wow. You really can't make this stuff up. Not all of the cards in this deck, for people who don't have this deck, not all of the cards in this deck specifically have to do with like starseed ancestry. A lot of it is just like guidance. So maybe that reason I'm using this week is because there are a lot of starseeds listening, whether or not they even know that they are yet. Okay. But anyway, Scorpio, your card is Star Ancestors. Okay. So if you're someone who hasn't looked into, like, I swear, just a quick pause. I just had this big feeling this week. Like, I really don't talk about this ever really at all. There's so many other amazing people in the community that like take the lead on talking about starseeds. And like I said, I'm a little shy about like personal stuff and private stuff in my life. So for me to like whip out this deck this week was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's see what happens. So I'm assuming the reason why I was specifically so extremely called to pull this deck is because there are people listening that don't know their starseeds yet and who are about to find out. Or ones that are finding me, and so hi, if you're out there. So anyway, okay, Scorpio, Star Ancestors. So again, maybe you want to look into this whole starseed thing and like what that means to you. There are so many great books, and like I said, I'm going to link that video below. But there is lost wisdom within you, as is what I'm getting. So this card specifically has pyramids on it, a lot of Egyptian ancestry. Wow, I said that. Okay, so perhaps you're listening, some people listening here have Egyptian past lives, and so many starseeds I feel like do have past lives in Egypt. That's just something that I've sort of come across, like the more starseeds I interact with, a lot of us do. So perhaps you have a past life in Egypt that could be confirming something for you, or maybe you've felt like maybe you did. But my point is hopefully you're someone who believes in reincarnation because I'm saying this, but you've come here with some wisdom that I think you need to uncover within yourself. Maybe you're looking for a lot of external sources of information. I need you to pivot inwards. Hidden secrets. Maybe you need to do what I'm getting, I'm seeing someone like in a meditation. So maybe you need to put on some sound bowls, have a relaxing evening, sort of see what comes to you. There are certain like guided meditations that will allow you to connect with like your higher self. Maybe I'll link one of those below. But there's some sort of wisdom within you, Scorpio, that you have to uncover. I'm receiving now a message about maybe you've been like kind of looking into something. Maybe there's been things calling out to you like, oh, I want to get this book. I feel so inclined to learn about this thing. Go with that feeling. I know it's easy to get like swept in everyday life, and then it's like you didn't do the thing you were meant to do, or like you just didn't have time to read that book or do the thing. I'm telling you, make time for it. If you are feeling inclined to start a specific spiritual practice, to read a certain book, to take a course, to maybe go to a certain museum is what I'm hearing. Go, because that is going to be, I see like this is the starting seed that is going to grow into you finding out more about who you really are. Because I think it's more than you even understand right now is exactly what I'm getting. This is the beginning. I just feel this like beautiful warm feeling of, wow, like I think you're going to really find out a lot more about who you really are. And as someone on that journey, it is a beautiful journey. It's not always easy, let me tell you, but it is a beautiful one. Okay. Sagittarius. Let's see. All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Sagittarius. This is a lot like what I was just saying. Maybe you've been looking for external sources of information. Maybe you've been looking to, listen, I think it's amazing to look to our guides, our ancestors, to mentors, to people with more information about the things that we need to know, or to other readers, and to the tools that we even use, right? Like our cards and runes and whatever it is that you use, right? This card, though, is all about your higher self, is all about your inner intuition. And instead of looking for, maybe you're feeling like I need answers. I don't know what the hell's going on in my life. I need some sort of guidance. The best guidance you're going to receive comes from within. So instead of looking to all these outside resources of, learning information or feeling like you need advice about things, I want you to spend some time alone this week. Spend some time alone. Like I said, maybe get some like good instrumental music, some sound bowls, some something. And really just be alone with the things that you need guidance about. How do you really feel? What's the feeling that you get in your body that's telling you which way to go? What are the thoughts in your mind that don't feel intrusive, that don't feel like anxiety, that don't feel like fear, but they feel like your intuition? Fear and anxiety, because it's hard to sort these things out, right? Fear and anxiety are like sometimes going to be like the bigger, louder, like things in the forefront. Your intuition is a soft, strong knowing. It is not a frantic voice. It is almost like a feeling that comes from your center in which like you just know. And when you can silence your mind, quiet your mind, stop moving your body, get rid of distractions, put your phone down, TV off, that is when you can really tap in to your own intuition. I'm also going to put a higher self guided meditation in the description box because I'm feeling like there's a Sagittarius out there that, I mean, this is for everybody too, but that needs to do this. You have wisdom within you and you're not using it because you're kind of, when you only look to outside resources for decision making and to gather information, you're kind of giving up a little bit of your power. So the power comes from within. Clarity comes from within. Okay, Capricorn. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Wow. I think for Capricorns, especially like earth signs, this is like a great card. Sometimes earth signs specifically, we get so in the groove of like, I got to do this and this and this and this and this and this. It feels like we have no time to do anything because we're constantly in workaholic mode. Because we feel like there's time running out. Like sometimes, as a Capricorn, I'm saying this, like sometimes I feel like there is an imaginary like sand timer and there's always just like sand falling through and I never feel like I can like keep up with time passing by because I'm like, oh, there's so much I want to accomplish, so much I need to get done. So this is a good message for me, and so I know several other Capricorns I could think of, and just us as a whole, I'm sure you're resonating. Trust the timing. The other message I'm getting from this is maybe there are things that you expected in your life, whether this has to do with a job, a creative project, maybe even hearing like promotions or relationships and things like that, right? Like that you feel like should be happening at a certain rate, a certain pace, or at a certain time. And when but no one knows this, right? Like no one has any idea about these like specific timelines and like deadlines you set for yourself. And the universe really doesn't care about whatever deadline you set for yourself. It's, hilarious that we even do this because divine right timing is in play. So it's like whatever timing you think that you're supposed to be on, it kind of needs to go out the window because things are going to happen as they're going to happen. You can only control yourself. You can't control what's happening around you. So ease into the fact that divine right timing is at play, that things are going to work out for you exactly when they're meant to at the right time. And you often can't see why something is happening faster or slower than you want it to until it's already happened. And then you have, like I said, the hindsight, the insight of, oh, I get now why it happened that way. But when you're in it, it's hard to feel like that. And because, you're waiting, it seems like there's this energy of waiting on things. And it's like, you just have to continue about your daily life and not worry about the when, but just know that when it does come in, whatever this thing is, or these deadlines you've set for yourself, like it's going to be the right time. So if you're pushing yourself towards a deadline that you don't think is realistic, push it back. You're the only one putting those deadlines on yourself most of the time. And if you're waiting for something to happen, be patient because it's going to happen at the best time for you. And that's better than it happening when you want it to. Because sometimes when you want it to isn't the right time. That's just the truth. Aquarius, star bathing. This is so funny because like Aquarius specifically. Star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. Okay, Aquarius, you, if it's possible, so everyone jokes like Aquarius is like the aliens of the zodiac, which is like just extra funny that I pulled this card for you in my mind anyway. I'm an Aquarius Venus, so if that tells you anything about me, my goodness. You need to get out under the stars, Aquarius. Are you feeling a little bit homesick? Right? Like, I love to go stargazing. It is absolutely one of the, like, my most favorite things to do is to be outside at night under the stars, under the moon, and just soak it in, right? For those of you starseeds that, know your starseeds and you know that homesick feeling I'm talking about. Oh, it is healing to me to be out there and receive healing from the stars. So if you're an Aquarius, maybe you got to go outside at night, do a little stargazing, right? Like, get a blanket, lay in the grass, just feel the energy, right? Release all that you're carrying, release those burdens there. Clear your mind and maybe see if there's some sort of intuitive messages that are trying to come through for you. Something like that, right? If you know about crystal grids, something for you to look into, right? To help you during that time. Because there is something, you're going through some sort of ascension right now, a growth in your spiritual journey. And this is going to help you sort of be catapulted into that next chapter. There's something that's trying to be activated within you. So maybe you need to look into some sort of guided meditation. Again, could even be like with your higher self. I'm going to put that below, to sort of like jumpstart that for you. And at the very least, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, maybe you just want to go lay outside at night. Obviously be safe and just stargaze. It's so beautiful. I'm seeing even some of you maybe have a telescope. Maybe you got to dust it off and take it out there. Okay, Pisces. This is so funny. It's very similar to Capricorn. Pisces, last but never least. I'm a Pisces moon, if anyone, I feel like sometimes people ask me. I'm a Pisces moon, so while I'm a Capricorn, anyone who knows anything about astrology, yes, I'm a Capricorn sun and Pisces moon. Oh my gosh, you understand the duality of my life. So Pisces, your card is wait. It's not yet time. Things are being woven. This is exactly what I was talking about with Capricorn. Be patient, Pisces, and know that there are larger forces at play. The universe, your spirit guides, ancestors, and for some of us, cosmic families, okay? They are allowing things to unfold at a certain rate that we may not understand yet, but is extremely important. You don't want to rush beautiful things in your life because you need them to unfold when they're meant to, so you get the best possible outcome. And I'm not saying that waiting is easy. It's hard to be so patient when it's almost like, Pisces is so intuitive. It's like we feel something coming. We feel it on the way to us. We know. And that at times makes it harder to wait. So if you intuitively feel like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like something's on the way. I've been getting that anticipatory feeling for a while now with this beginning of the astrological new year. Keep waiting. Keep just going through your daily life. Continue healing. That way you're in the best headspace, in the best mindset to be receiving whatever it is that's coming towards you. So just whenever I struggle with waiting and being patient, because like I said, the people that are so intuitive, sometimes it's a little harder because you know that something's about to go down, but you just got to kind of wait it out. I turn all of my attention during those times inward. I work on myself. I dedicate time to my healing. I make sure that I'm loving myself, seeing my own value, doing my affirmations, doing my meditation, working with crystals, all those tools, venerating my ancestors, everything. I usually dive pretty deep into my spiritual practices, even more so when I'm in the waiting. Because you don't want the waiting to derail you, to make you get in your head and feel like, oh, am I wrong? Am I not feeling this intuitive thing right? Or they, what maybe your guides have told you something's on the way and you're kind of just okay, tapping your foot. No. Things are being woven. And it's going to be so magnificent when it finally arrives that the amount of time you have to wait is not going to matter. Because again, Pisces listening, you're intuitive. You probably know a little bit about what's going on in your life right now. If there's a Pisces listening that was like, has something specifically on their mind, like a certain decision or a move they were going to make, this couldn't be a clearer symbol to wait, because it could be that there's a better opportunity coming towards you. Like if this is about, for some of you, if like this is like a career thing, like you're going to make a certain like jump, maybe just hold on a little longer. Don't be impulsive. You want to make sure that you know all of the options out on the table first, and then you go from there. You want like the most information possible. But the specific part about things are being woven tells me like these beautiful blessings coming into you, because that's what they are. I feel that. They need to happen a certain way to make sure that like there's factors that you don't see, right? Like we see a lot, but we don't see everything. So make sure that you are patient and do whatever it is you can do that's productive, so that way you don't start doubting yourself and going to, like I said, the bad place. So again, this was an extra out there episode, okay? Like I was extremely, let's just say like told by my spirit guides to use this deck today to be more authentic in my own life, right? Like I'm going through the same journey that you guys are going through, or you all are going through. And so I am still taking off my masks. You know, I can be a little bit vulnerable right now for those of you that are still listening. If you are done with the messages, you can go. But for those of you that want to hang out for one more second, I want you to know that I am part of this collective that I'm reading for. Right? So like while all of the collective is connected, we're sort of in the same pocket. Those of us that are listening here, especially if you're like coming back weekly, we're like in the same pocket of the collective. We're mirroring each other. So all the things I'm like helping you to be guided through are things that I've either gone through recently, I am going through, or like a lesson that I've already mastered. So when I say things like be vulnerable, take your masks off, those are things I struggle with too, of course. Like I don't normally talk about a lot of this. Like I have a lot of things in my spiritual practice that I do not speak of, really. Like I talk about sometimes I talk about my clair gifts. So, you know, I mostly focus on tarot and oracle and some of my astrology knowledge, but there are things that I'm initiated into, practices that I do, veneration that I do, that I don't really speak a lot more about, and my guides are strongly pushing me to be more open and more authentic in my own life in order to, you know, like I said, be a space where others can be their true authentic self, because they know it's safe here because I'm being my true authentic self. So, you know, me talking about the starseed stuff this week, it's like, that's like me being a little bit vulnerable. And I'm sure that there's some people listening this week that are like, what the hell is she talking about? But if you feel pulled to look into that this week, it's a huge blessing. And, you know, I know this is going to be something I'm talking about more in the future. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for like allowing me into your spiritual journey. I don't say that enough, but I think it all the time. Like the fact that you trust me, means so much to me. So I'm so happy you're here. This is not a coincidence. If you're listening to this, this is not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences as a whole. But this was an extra special message this week. And you know what I think it has to do with? I think it has to do with that major conjunction. Actually, yes, on April 12th, there's an astrological event that's happening that hasn't happened in like 160 something years. So maybe I'll post about that on my Instagram, or actually I'll describe it in the description box. I forgot which planets it is, but it's like something that hasn't happened in a very long time. I feel like this extra out there cosmic woo-woo message has something to do with that. But I think the world is ready. And yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. So have a beautiful week. Take everything day by day. And most importantly, be open to receiving the beautiful blessings that are on the way to us. Okay? So I will see you here next week. Bye, everyone.